Hello. Well, before I get started with my Tuesday's tips, I just want to say that I hope all of you and your families are doing okay. And then I also want to say congratulations to the students that graduated in May. That's a great achievement, and you all must feel very proud about that. And then finally, I hope all of you are getting to maybe experience a little bit more of a relaxed pace now that we're entering into summer. Well, if you remember at the end of last semester, I was telling you that I had a lot of students coming up to me and a little bit worried about entering into this job market, after graduation with these high unemployment rates. And so I was talking with other fellow faculty in the College of Health Solutions, and we put together a committee to try to address these concerns. And so we're working on more of a permanent resource, and we hope to unveil that a little bit later this summer. But I thought in the meantime, I'm going to send out some short videos every Tuesday through the month of June to help you get started with this process. So I thought that this video format would be more fun than maybe reading through paragraphs of information on what to do. And also, these video conversations, they're some of the conversations I'm having with my daughter, who is graduating in August, and I thought I'd share some of those tips with you. I also want to provide one positive perspective about the job market in each video, because I think we all need some positivity right now. And then I'm going to be offering several tips, just because, some of you have already graduated, and some of you will be graduating in the near future. And I realize your needs might vary a little bit, and this way, you can pick out the one that best suits you. The other reason I'm doing this is that, have you ever heard that it's a full-time job looking for a full-time job? Well, this process can seem overwhelming, especially if you're working at it by yourself. And so what I would recommend is if you can pick one thing to work on per week, before you know it, you're going to find yourself, right along on the process for getting into this job market. Okay, so this is my positive perspective for this video. These are the famous words of Abraham Lincoln. This too shall pass. And so I know it's, a difficult time right now with high unemployment rates, but this is a temporary situation, and it won't be this way forever. I too, when I graduated from college with my master's degree, entered into a market with high unemployment rates. And then it also happened to me again in 2008 when I was changing industries. The most important thing to think about right now is just, kind of go into survival mode, get a job to pay your bills, but don't lose sight of your long-term goals. And so by this, I mean, if you are graduating this summer or graduating in December or next spring, make sure you finish your degree. As I mentioned, my daughter is graduating in August, and she just got this really fun job to work over the summer, to pay her bills. And this job does not require a college degree. It's not even in her major. And so I reminded her that, your number one goal this summer is to finish your degree. And, what she may find is that she really likes this job, and she may want to stay with the company. And by finishing her degree, it's going to be what allows her to move up in this company. So right now she can kind of learn the business. And then once she finishes her degree, she could move up into other positions and maybe, into corporate. So make sure you keep your eye on those long-term goals and finish your degree, because that is what's going to give you a lot more mobility and flexibility as you go on in your work career. Now, the next thing, probably the most valuable thing you're going to get out of this job is going to be the experience. And what I always like to remind students, even when it's not a high unemployment rate, is that oftentimes your first job out of college is not your dream job. And so again, you just want to survive. You want to get a job so you can pay your bills. But what you really want to get out of that job is the experience. And many of the skills that you're going to be learning in that job are going to transfer over to other jobs later on in life. And even with my daughter working in a job that is not in her major, she's still going to learn lots of valuable skills this summer that will transfer to a different industry when that time comes. And what this means is you might have to spend 12 months to 18 months, working in this job, but it's not going to be forever. It's just temporary. Okay, any ideas what I'm going to tell you with the pictures on this slide? Well, I'm going to start with the graph in the center, and that is a graph of what the stock market has done over the last 3 decades. And I've been in the job market for the last 3 decades, 30 years. And I'm not an economist, but this correlates with the unemployment rate. And what you can see is that the unemployment rate goes up and then it comes back down, and then it goes back up and then it comes back down. And so the reason I'm showing you this is I want you to just kind of think of, what's happening right now. It's temporary. And also, when you look at a historical look of the stock market or the unemployment rates, you can see that this is something that's kind of, maybe normal that happens. And so I think that can kind of help you realize that, things are going to get better. This is just temporary. The reason I have the picture of the Bob's Big Boy statue is that when I was going through high school and some of my years in college, I worked as a coffee shop waitress, and one of my jobs was at Bob's Big Boy. I have great memories from those days. But when I got my first job out of college with a master's degree, and again, there were high unemployment rates, my first job did not pay much more than that waitressing job at a coffee shop did. Now, I'll remind you, I was making minimum wage plus tips, and so it was about, double minimum wage. And at the time I thought, wow, I can't believe I went through all this school and I'm still making what I made as a coffee shop waitress. Well, what's really important to remember is it was the experience I got in that first job that is paying dividends today. And even, 20 some years later, I'm still getting great jobs based on the experience I got from that first job. So again, just remember that first job is really about, getting your experience. So I'm going to just, end this by saying that nothing is a waste of time, especially if you use that experience wisely.